Numbers chapters 26 and 27 of our Genesis to Revelations daily study. In these two chapters, God gives us instructions to take a census of the new generation of the Israelites. The land is shared out, or how to share out the land when you get to the promised land. The daughters of Zelophehad bring a question to Moses, who takes it to Yahweh God, and Joshua is to succeed Moses. We shall also see an indication as to who are the children of Israel. So, reading from Numbers chapters 26 verse 1. And it came to pass after the plague that Yahweh spake unto Moses and unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, saying, take the sum of all, that means everybody, the congregation of the children of Israel, from 20 years old and upwards, throughout their father's house, all that are able to go to war in Israel. We have so far seen a mixture of people from various ancestry make up this congregation of children of Israel, and follow the same laws and lifestyle. When Abraham, Esau and Jacob went to fight, their servants also went with them. For example, in Genesis chapter 14 verse 14. Servants became part of the father's house. Here, every male over 20 years, regardless of origin, colour, bond or free, would go to fight as part of all of the congregation or children of Israel, not only those of direct blood relation to Jacob. Remember, with Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, the servants always had a higher ratio or outnumbered the direct bloodline family members. Remember, Abraham, Ham and Ishmael got circumcised, and the other 318 men also got circumcised, and so forth. So obviously servants are not going to stay safe at home while the owners go into battle and risk death. The number of men given for each family includes the servants. So it is futile to claim the children of Israel are of one colour or descendants. Note also verse 11, which deals with Korah's children. Not all of them died when Korah died with the earth opening up and killing them. Now, for a more detailed study of who the children of Israel are, see a sermon titled "The Real Jews Heirs of the Promised Children of the Kingdom" on forwardtoyahweh.com. Okay, so after the lineage of the families are given, their numbers are counted. I'm going to continue from verse 51, Numbers 26:51. These were the numbered of the children of Israel, 600,000 and 1,730. In other words, 601,730 men over 20. Verse 52. And Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, Unto these the land shall be divided for an inheritance, according to the number of names. To many thou shalt give the more inheritance, and to few thou shalt give the less inheritance. To everyone shall his inheritance be given according to those that were numbered of him. Notwithstanding, the land shall be divided by lot, according to the names of the tribes of their fathers they shall inherit. According to the lot shall the possession thereof be divided between many and few. Verse 58. These are the families of the Levites. Verse 62. Those that were numbered of them were 20 and 3,000, all males from a month old and upwards, for they were not numbered among the children of Israel, because there was no inheritance given them among the children of Israel. So in other words, the Levites were not going to get inheritance. They were going to be situated in between amongst each of the tribes. So approximately 37 years after the first census, a second one was taken following the same procedure. The first census had 603,900 550 fighting men. That was in Numbers chapters 146. Compared to 601,730 in this second census, almost no change. Now, had the 24,000 men not been killed in Numbers chapters 25 verse 9, there would have been a little increase. The Levites were not included in any of the censuses. Shall say. They were counted separately and from a different age, as we saw, from a month old. The land would be divided according to the total size of each family, inclusive of servants. It would be unfair for, say, a family of 100 natural Hebrews descendants and, say, 50 servants, means a total of 150 people, to get a bigger piece of land or accommodation size than a family that said had fewer Hebrew descendants, i.e. 90, and 400 servants. In other words, you had 490 people in this family compared to 150. So obviously the servants will be included in the father's house numbers. And this, I think, is relevant to Revelations, which talks about 144,000, but that's another thing we get to when we get to it. So last verse of chapters 26, 33, I'm just going back a little bit, because this is going to be linked to chapters 27. And Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, had no sons, but daughters, and the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah, and Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. Verse 34, these are the families of Manasseh, and those that were numbered of them, 50 and 2,700. So come on to chapters 27 verse 1. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Micah, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of the daughters, Mahlah, Noah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses, and before Eleazar the priest, and before the princes, and all the congregation, by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against Yahweh in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin, and had no sons. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family, because he hath no son? Give unto us therefore possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought the cause before Yahweh, and Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren. And thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a man die and have no son, then you shall cause his inheritance to pass on to his daughter. And if he have no daughter, then he shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he have no brethren, then he shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren. And if his father have no brethren, then you shall give his inheritance unto his kinsman that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as Yahweh commanded Moses. When we come to the book of Ruth, Naomi's husband dies, and her two sons also die, and we're basically left with Ruth, who went back to Naomi, and so Naomi inherits the land because her husband is her husband's, who's now dead. And in Ruth chapter 4, the problem is the person who marries Ruth also gets the land. Okay, Numbers chapter 27 verse 12. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Get thee up into this mount, Abarim, and see the land which I have given unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast seen it, thou also shalt be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother was gathered. For you rebelled against my commandment in the desert of Zin. So obviously the children of Israel includes the whole congregation, not just naturally born Hebrews who get this land. Verse 22. And Moses did as Yahweh commanded him, and he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation. And he laid his hands upon him and gave him a charge as Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moses. Now late in Deuteronomy chapters 3:25, we shall read, Moses prayed to God to let him go into the promised land, and God denied him despite the good and wonderful work he had done. Similar to those of Matthew 7 chapters 22, all because he did not keep God's commandments, regardless of the reasons and the stress he was under by the rebels, the congregation. So that's the principle. So I strongly recommend you get the proper perspective of God's requirements of obedience compared to what is taught today about grace and the free gift interpretation. Grace is the term used in the New Testament and is similar to the word mercy in the Old Testament. In Exodus chapter 20 verse 6, it tells us who gets God's mercy and who gets God's grace. It reads, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that, the condition, love me and keep my commandments. Shalom until tomorrow, God willing.